It's Friday night. I'm expecting for it to be busy tonight. Hey guys, this is Sean. I am on my way to work and I have about 12 minutes to spare. I got an email from one of you and I'm going to basically summarize what the email is about. And it basically says this: Sean, I work at a busy facility. I often provide relief for another private security officer. And every time that we're in the switchover process or relief process, this other private security officer tries to push his personal policies on me. And it's rude, it's disruptive. This security officer doesn't feel very comfortable going to work just when this guy is working. And I know where he's coming from. I've worked shifts where I show up and I'm actually kind of hesitant, guys. And it may seem like I'm a really assertive person on camera, but usually when I have an issue with somebody, I don't address it right then and there. I'll usually give them about maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks until I feel comfortable speaking up. So I usually won't say something right away. Other people on this channel are a little bit more aggressive. They're a lot more assertive than I am, and they might have a different road to take. But I understand where the security officer is coming from. It's very uncomfortable. You work at a certain place and people respect you, your coworkers, visitors, staff, and you're really trying to do a good job and you really like what you do, but it's just every time you show up to work when this person's working, you just have this cringy feeling and you feel uncomfortable. So we need to talk about this. So the number one issue is this officer, the security officer, is trying to push personal policies onto this security officer who is our subscriber. And that's a problem, because if you push a personal policy onto staff, that policy is not legitimate. And what I mean by that is it has not been tried and tested over time. You have your SOPs, your manuals, your policies, whatever you refer to them. A lot of those policies have been reviewed by a licensed attorney. If not, it's been reviewed by management. It's been reviewed by supervisors. I know that because where I work at, we had a brand new policy in place, and our commander at the time wanted us to review the policy page by page and provide any input. And we found tons of errors. So these policies and even procedures have been tested time over time, and they work. They work. So at this particular post, these policies have been tested over time. Now this guy is trying to make his own up, and that's an issue because they have not been tried over time at that particular workplace. And it also causes disruption because there's no consistency. If a newer private security officer shows up on post and tries to learn from this guy, because this guy is basically, I want to say, lamping this newer private security officer who is brand new to private security, and that this person just feels a need to just control this person, to manipulate them. Well, this newer private security officer is going to fall into the same trap. They're going to follow the personal policies instead of the official policies. So how do you address that? So apparently this security officer has only confronted or talked to this security officer one time. Now, my recommendation, it may be the right recommendation or maybe not. You have to keep in mind that I don't work there and neither do most of you guys. So this could be the right way, maybe not. But for me, I don't think just one time is enough for me to go higher up the chain of command. I want to have several discussions. And when somebody is trying to control me and create their own policies, there is going to be a time when I'm going to ask them, like, hey, you know what? And be polite about it, guys. Hey, I see kind of sort of where you're coming from. Or, hey, I don't understand. Where are you getting these rules from? Like, where exactly are you getting these rules from? Because I'm interested. It sounds very interesting what you're telling me. And you might be wondering, what kind of personal policies is this guy trying to push? Well, let's just say you work, we'll say in a doctor's office, and you want to, let's say you want to follow policy. The policy is you have to sit on a chair in front of the counter. Okay, and guys, I'm just kind of making this stuff up as we go. But the security officer, the release security officer, says, no, it's better if we just walk around the entire perimeter. Like walk outside the store and then walk behind the counter where the nursing staff and doctor staff is at. That way, we can ensure that patients are safe. Just in case a doctor is struggling with a patient, we're able to listen to them. We could hear their cry for help. So there you have a conflict of policies. Number one, you have an official policy or company policy which states you're going to sit on a chair right in the front. And then you have the personal policy where this guy wants you to roam around the parking lot, the perimeter, and then walk to where the nurses are at. Something like that, guys, just ask, like, hey, it sounds very interesting what you're telling me to do. It's a lot different from what I'm used to. Where are you getting these suggestions or these policies? Now, you could say in a polite way, you could say in a rude way. I like to be polite with people, guys. I've done this over the past 20 years, and I don't feel that any supervisor has been disrespected. Because I've worked with the worst supervisors, I mean, the most disrespectful supervisors, and they have never called me in the office or called me out in the open and say, hey, you're being disrespectful. That's never happened to me. So that's the way that I carry myself out. And after a certain amount of time, you're going to get somebody that's going to say, well, that's the way I've been doing it. When somebody says that's the way I've been doing it, they're not relying on any company policy. They're relying on their own rules, you guys. Oftentimes on this channel, I will cite the California Civil Code, maybe a federal code, criminal codes, case laws. I'll cite my authority, not in every single video. I just don't have time to do that in every single video. But you guys know that, follow me for a while, that more often than not, I do cite my sources. And I don't think it's unreasonable if you do the same thing. And if this person says, oh, well, Sergeant Jones told me that last week. He told me that I have to walk around the perimeter. Okay, well, now you contact Sergeant Jones and just confirm what it is he said or what he did not say. And then you go back to this guy who's causing problems and just say, hey, I talked to Sergeant Jones, and what you're telling me is inconsistent. He told me actually something else. And what you want to do is keep bringing up these points. Where do you get this information? When you start getting a bunch of I don't knows, or that's just the way we've been doing things, you got to go for the direct confrontation. That's, hey, you know what? A lot of these suggestions that you're giving me, they come off as actual orders. And I don't agree with them because there's no company basis. There's no policy in place. And when we start acting on personal reasons or personal policies, that's where we're going to run afoul with the law or with company policy. And I am not going to jeopardize my job, my family, so that I follow these suggestions or policies that you have. Now, guys, when I do the confrontation or I have this discussion, I recommend to our subscriber, you show up maybe 2 hours early, not 2 hours early, 10 minutes early, and just say, hey, you know what? Can I talk to you for a minute? And what I would do is this. I would hit up a supervisor. I would say, hey, you know what? Me and Officer so-and-so, we have a difference of ideas. There's a conflict right now that we're having. Do you mind getting somebody to cover this area or this post for just 10 minutes? That's all it takes, 10 minutes. I like to keep things between myself and another officer. This is nothing that is going to create any liability on the company, but I want to just squash a small issue that we have in the most peaceful manner possible. Could you just give me 10 minutes or give me 5 minutes to cover the post? A good leader will say, yeah, sure, not a problem. And then that's when you ask to speak to this person to the side. Okay, you don't want them to create a circus or to get an audience. And I would bring these ideas to them, or I'm sorry, these thoughts. Hey, this is what I'm seeing, and this is what I'm feeling. It makes me very uncomfortable to work in this type of environment. Could you just stop? And I also let them know, like, hey, could we just squash this issue right now? And that's actually the first thing that I would mention is, look, I'm not going to the higher ups. I feel like this is something that you and I could take care of. Man to man, human being to human being, or woman to woman. I just want to squash this issue right now. Okay. Guys, I've done this to supervisors. I've done this to commanders. Just squash issues in the office. That's it. A lot of people will respect you. Now, if the issue is not squashed and this person keeps doing what they're doing, I think at that point in time, it's okay to go to a supervisor. I mean, obviously, it's always okay to go to a supervisor. But that's just the way I do things. Contact the supervisor. Supervisor will probably give me permission to go to a higher up, maybe a manager or the owner of the security company, and then bring the issue to them. Because it's a liability. And guys, I don't own a security company right now. But those of you who own security companies, wouldn't you like it knowing that your two officers try to squash an issue? They try this on their own, and it just hasn't worked. And then now it's to your desk. Wouldn't you prefer that? Rather than every single time there's a conflict in the workplace, they go directly to you, and they want you to resolve the problem. So these are my thoughts. Guys, our subscriber asked me to post this video in hopes that you'll provide some valuable input in the comments. So our subscriber will be reading the comments, and he'd like to know what the course of action is. Guys, I made this video on the fly. I didn't really put too much thought into it. This is just how I feel at the moment while I'm on my way to work. You guys, if you're in a more concentrated environment, just please give this person suggestions, just so that he can have peace of mind. This is a really good security officer too, by the way. Let's keep him employed at this work site. Let's allow him to keep doing a great job out there. Take care, guys.